Welcome. Welcome, restaurant owners, restaurant managers, food and beverage directors, and private club managers. Welcome to the Food and Beverage Purchasing Doc. Today's video, we're going to talk about an expense area. Believe it or not food costs. It's probably the first video we're doing that's not related somehow to food costs. But this is an expense area that really, in a lot of ways, has been one of the best kept secrets out there in any food service operation. I think hotels probably understand the value of this much more than many other segments of the hospitality industry. But what we're talking about today is soft water. And the guy we're talking about is your chemical salesman. The reason chemical salesmen would probably hate soft water is because soft water literally can save you between 50 and 75% of your chemical costs. We're going to get into exactly how that works, but that could literally add up to being thousands of dollars. Water is the most absorptive substance in the universe. Basically, what it means is that water grabs anything and everything around it that it can and brings it into itself. And that could be organics, that could be minerals, that could be bacteria, anything that it can actually grab, it will. And that's why, if you notice, bottled water becomes such a huge deal, because what they do is they filter down to like usually 0.5 microns and take out anything and everything in that water that they can from an organic standpoint. And that means that's why bottled water tastes so good. You know, what do? You get out chlorine that usually is in your public water system. It gets out all kinds of bacteria for sure, so it's healthier. So those folks at home that recognize this either buy bottled water or filter their water. The other aspect of water, and this basically comes naturally because water comes from the earth. In other words, after rain, it goes down into the earth. But again, during that process, grabs all kinds of minerals around it. Calcium, magnesium, pretty much are the top two. Iron could also be there, but that's treated a different way. Soft water softeners take out that calcium and magnesium, and that's called hardness. Hardness, and by actually removing hardness, you will double the life of your hot water heater. You will double the life of your booster heater. You will double the life of not only your dish machine, but you will reduce the chemicals in what it takes for your dish machine to operate and actually get rid of the protein that's on your dishes, glassware, and silverware, which becomes spots. Well, your glassware spots really are two things. They either could be residual hardness, which dried onto the surface tension of the glass, or it literally is protein. Protein means dirt. It means leftover gravy. It's just disgusting. And that's why when you see glassware that's not really cleaned well, it really is significant. Not because it just makes your operation look better, but it literally is making it healthy for your customers or members. Hardness can also, after time, etch the glass. And that means it's beyond saving, to where the only thing you could really do is buy new glasses and start again. Here's an image of a pipe that has been subjected to hard water for quite a number of years. Okay, try to imagine what that does to your water pressure. But basically, hard water takes havoc with your entire infrastructure of pipes throughout your building. This doesn't go away other than treating it with soft water. The good news is, with like looking at, for every year that it was subjected to hard water, it would take 1 to 3 months of soft water to erode that rock inside the pipe. So in other words, once you get soft water, the good news is over time, just like water does, it pulls rock out of the environment. Well, in the case of your pipes, it'll pull rock out of your pipes environment, and it will precipitate it out. It'll go through the water softener. It'll eventually, the soft water will just flush through the system over time. So that's the good news. Okay, so by now you're probably saying, well, all right, what do I do? Well, here's a little list that I've put together that you may want to take a look at. First is, as we talked about, get your water tested. It just makes sense to find out what you got, and it really will be worthwhile. Anything below 5 grain hardness, it's really a crapshoot whether you want to do anything about it or not. A lot of people consider that soft water. And again, if you're not having troubles with your dish machine temperatures and booster heaters lasting a good 5 years or more and that kind of thing, you may not see that return on investment that you'd like. But again, knowing what you got is the best. To me, anything really 7 grain or higher, it's a must. It really is a must to stay ahead of it. You will see a return on investment. That length of time may get out there a little bit longer than if you got 10 grain or more, but it's certainly worth, in my opinion, doing it. Next, as far as the types of water softeners, the ionization process is pretty much the same for, like, that's what water softeners do. The difference between water, now again, you'll hear about no salt softeners and other kinds of systems, but in my opinion, they're not even worth talking about. A true water softener that ionizes, gets the hardness out of the water, replaces it with a very minute amount of salt. You'll never taste it, you'll never feel it. It's so minute, it's ridiculous, is really the only way to go. How the control system works to flush out the resin bed. In other words, when it grabs that hardness, it embeds it against these resin beads. That's what that are in those cylindrical tanks. You got resin bed in there, and it captures and holds the hardness until the system flushes it out down the drain. Well, how the softener controls that process is either done electronically or it's done by water, like a water meter. There is a company called Fleck, F-L-E-C-K, Fleck Systems. Fleck Systems came on the water softener scene probably 30 years ago. Before then, the Culligan people, Sears was huge in water softeners for homes and so on. They used an electronic controller that your water softener recycling or the cleaning process of the resin bed was controlled by an electronic timer. So whether you were on vacation or not, your thing got flushed. So your use of salt and your use of water going down the drain to get rid of that hardness, for especially a homeowner, that was more and more of an expense. So Fleck came along and said, well, no, we're going to put a little miniature water meter on there. And based on your hardness, you set how many thousands of gallons the water softener should handle before it flushes itself. So this way, it doesn't do it by time. It does it by use. Great for a vacation home, great for even a restaurant that's closed for the season kind of thing, and all that. It really, a Fleck system should be the only kind of water softener controller component that you should consider. Kinetico, the single largest manufacturer and distributor of Fleck system type controllers. There's many out, but they're very, very expensive. There's others out there or knockoffs that still use a flex system. So that should be really your question. Now, normally get your 3 bids like you would on whether you're buying a new convection oven or you're buying a new fryolator or whatever. Just go through the normal process. These salesmen, just like most, are very aggressive. They're going to tell you why theirs is the best and nobody else's is any better and blah, 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 blah. But that's for you to sort through. My only recommendation is pony up and go for Kinetico, or try to find a Kinetico knockoff. In Texas, there was one called, in my opinion, you should take a look at either a point of use or a whole building. Here's an image of a point of use Kinetico softener. And actually, I think Kinetico, I have a unit that for those operations that don't want to or care, they don't have showers, let's say, or steam rooms or whatever, but it's a freestanding restaurant that doesn't care about the valves in their hot water lavatories. It's controllable. Doesn't cost much to replace a couple of those. This fits under the dish machine and can be put before your booster heater, and the cost of it is minimal compared to what a whole building system would be. But for those that have other benefits, you may want to take bids on both. Okay, so now back to the list. Your bids should also include monthly salt checking and refilling costs. Again, for that small restaurant, you want to assign it to one of your assistant managers that once a month they go out there and check the salt. You can buy bags of salt, buy the better salt, and you'll know when you get to Home Depot or one of those which are the better salts. Because they should cost about $10 or more per 40-pound bag. Those that are like the $3 and $4 that are out there, I've seen them out there. Not all the places, but some have it thinking that they're gonna, and most people fall for it. It's not as pure, and it could gum up your resin bed, and replacing a resin bed is very costly. So pony up for the better salt pellets. If you see major brand names like Morton and those, do it. Just buy it. For that extra couple of bucks, you're protecting your system. And when it comes to, and you get the cost of what the install would be, and what like if they say, you know what, we'll go ahead and service it for you, nothing really goes wrong with them. So I wouldn't do a maintenance thing. But what I would do is where they come and check it and replace the salt. Usually it's $35 a month, that kind of thing. Well worth it. So now that you have a number of what the installation would be, what point of use or whole building, I would take your dish machine chemical costs, take your cleaning chemicals like grill cleaners, toilet cleaners, spray foam cleaner, of what it costs you per month. That could be a safe return on investment point for you to have for your return on investment calculation. Hi. Okay, this is the section that we call Let's Get Personal. And basically all it is my way of adding my 2 cents to help folks that are just starting out and trying to develop their management style. And just offering some things that used to work for me. Guaranteed they don't work for everybody, but it's something that did seem to work for me. In this particular segment, there was a thing that my staff, when they would tease me and call some of the things I used to say as Dennisisms. And basically, what it meant was that these are points that I used to repeat myself over and over and over and over, to where they were just sick of hearing it, and they would tease me that, oh, here he comes again, what a Dennisism, that kind of thing. But what they didn't realize, it wasn't that I was just getting senile, but it was part of my style that I did on purpose to try to set a tone of what I thought things that were important. like when I would see a server coming out of their side state, or excuse me, coming out of their station empty-handed. I wouldn't say anything, but I'd go in there and, start clearing dishes or whatever, and they realize it. Okay. Now, other times, for instance, I worked for a chain to where one of their issues was when they'd serve a juicy hamburger or whatever, everything had to come with an extra napkin. Anything that a customer would pick up in their hands would have to, by company policy, be given an extra napkin. So what would I do on a Wednesday night? I'd pick a night where it's not crazy busy, but every time a server was walking towards, delivering the food, and it was armed service, I would stop them and go, no, go back, get some napkins. And I'd be like, oh, geez, I'm going to get it. I'm just going to, no, go back and get some napkins. So they thought I was kind of neurotic, but the point I'm getting at is, if there's something about your operation that really isn't part of that is a part of your mission statement, say it over and over and over and over. When they're sick of hearing it, then you know you got your point across. Okay, that's it for us. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please, if you did, I'd ask you to subscribe and share, and of course, hit that like button. That's the way our rankings grow. Okay, you have a good one. We'll see you again next week. Bye-bye now.